Dr. Ava Collins never believed life could change in a single night, but she had been wrong before. At 29, Ava was one of the youngest emergency physicians at Riverside Medical Center in Chicago. Her life moved in fast rhythms, rushing stretchers, emergency codes, sleepless nights, and the constant pressure to save every heartbeat. But outside the hospital door, she had something rare. Someone rare. His name was Daniel Reed, a carpenter. Quiet and calm, with hands rough from work, and a smile warm enough to melt a winter night. He wasn't a doctor. He didn't understand medical textbooks, but he understood her, more than anyone ever had. They had been together for 3 years, living in the small blue apartment above Daniel's workshop. Every morning, he packed her lunch with tiny notes like, "You're stronger than you think," or "Breathe today." People thought they were opposite worlds, but somehow they fit. The night everything changed. It was a cold Friday evening. Ava was halfway through a double shift when her phone buzzed. "Daniel, don't work too hard. Dinner's waiting." She smiled, typed a quick reply, then was called to a trauma room. Hours passed. Patients came and went. The clock hit midnight. Her break never came. When she finally checked her phone again, there were 3 missed calls from Daniel. Strange. He never called that much. A minute later, another call came, but not from him, from an unknown number. "Ava Collins?" a man asked. "This is Officer Ramirez. There was an accident." Ava froze. Something inside her cracked. "Who?" she whispered, though she already knew the answer. "A man named Daniel Reed." The hallway spun. Machines beeped around her, voices blurred, and for the first time in years, her hands trembled. She raced across the hospital to the ambulance bay just as the doors opened. Daniel lay on the stretcher, bruised, bleeding, barely conscious. "Daniel!" she cried, grabbing his hand. His eyes fluttered weakly. "Ava, don't cry." Her heart shattered. 2. A doctor and a girlfriend. She wasn't allowed to treat him. She was too close. Protocol. But she stayed beside him every second, watching the monitors like they were the center of the universe. Broken ribs, internal bleeding, a possible head injury. She watched surgeons wheel him away, helpless. For the first time, she wasn't the one saving the life. She was the one praying. She sat outside the operating room for 3 hours. 3 hours of remembering. How they met when she stitched his hand after a workshop accident. How he laughed too loudly. How he kissed softly. How he held her face the night her father died and said, "You don't have to be strong with me." And now she didn't know if she would ever hear that voice again. 3. When the heart decides. At 4:17 a.m., the surgeon finally stepped out. "He's alive," the doctor said, "but the next 24 hours are critical." Ava pressed a shaking hand to her mouth. Tears she had held back for hours broke free. She walked into Daniel's room. He looked smaller somehow, wrapped in wires and tubes. She sat beside him, held his cold fingers and whispered, "You promised me a lifetime, not a goodbye." For the first time in days, she let herself cry fully. The strong doctor broke, and the woman in love took her place. 4. A promise restored. Hours passed. Machines hummed. Rain tapped the window. In the afternoon, Daniel stirred. "Ava?" he whispered. Her heart leapt. "I'm here," she said, pressing her forehead to his. "Did I die?" She laughed through tears. "No, but you scared me half to death." He smiled weakly. "Sorry, was just trying to get your attention." "You idiot," she sobbed. "You already had all of it." He squeezed her hand. "Marry me." Ava froze. "Daniel, you almost died." "That's why," he whispered. "Life's too short to love slowly." She covered her face, shaking. "Yes," she said. 1,000 times yes. 5. Between heartbeats. Daniel recovered slowly, step by step, with Ava always by his side. Sometimes she was Dr. Collins, the professional. Other times she was Ava, the woman who almost lost everything. Together, they learned that love wasn't about perfect days. It was about the nights you thought you wouldn't survive, and the hands that held you through them. On the day he finally left the hospital, Daniel looked at her with a soft, steady gaze. "You save lives," he said, "but you saved mine long before this." Ava kissed him in the doorway, sunlight flooding over them like a quiet blessing. And between their heartbeats, a future began. A future stronger than fear, stronger than pain, stronger than anything life could break.